What's up, biker gang? In today's video, I'm going to be doing a rant on Groundhog Day, and this will be a collab rant with Dawg. Now, I was going to do this rant earlier in the month when it was February 2nd, but I just didn't have any time to do it. But since it's still February, I might as well get this rant done while it's still February. Anyways, here's my rant on Groundhog Day. The origin of Groundhog Day can be traced all the way from the Germans. When they immigrated to America, specifically Pennsylvania, it was originally meant for a badger, where if the badger comes out, there will either be 4 more weeks of winter or spring is already here. They changed that by having the groundhog, like in Pennsylvania, in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where if the groundhog sees a shadow, 6 more weeks of winter, or if the groundhog doesn't see its shadow, then spring is already here. Now, I can understand back in the old days when this was founded, like the 19th century, for example, or the 1800s, or whenever this was founded, because back then, there was no modern technology to predict or forecast what the weather's going to be in the next few days, or what the weather will be the day after that. So the groundhog was probably their best bet. But now with modern technology, a groundhog is really not that very accurate. In fact, there are plenty of other groundhogs out there. There are similar traditions even in Canada, and even in the South and other parts of the United States. And some groundhogs might be accurate, but some aren't. Because the weather can fluctuate and go back and forth, whether it be warm or it would still be cold and snowy, regardless of whether the groundhog sees a shadow or not. So let's say this year, from what I've heard, there's 6 more weeks of winter. I would say that is kind of bullshit, because there's sometimes going to be warm weather in the winter, then it goes right back to winter weather when it comes to snow and such. And not to mention, the groundhogs in Pennsylvania and other places, it doesn't represent the entirety of the United States when it comes to weather. And the same can be said in Canada or anywhere else where they have done this. The first ever Groundhog Day happened in 1840. And like I said before, back then it might have made more sense. But nowadays, with modern technology and the fact that you can know when the weather comes, the groundhog is not entirely accurate. There was only one time that Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania got canceled, and that was in 1943 during World War II. There was also a movie about Groundhog Day made back in the 90s, and the Groundhog Day movie is actually really good. I actually do like the Groundhog Day movie. I really do like the movie. I mean, it is a very original idea where they kind of repeat the day and see how they can make the day a little better for the main character who has to experience Groundhog Day. But yeah, despite the movie being good, the day itself that's based off of is really pointless nowadays. And I would say Groundhog Day is just very obsolete, because once again, we have modern technology. We have, forecasting and meteorologists that help predict the weather to see whether we still have cold weather or not. And besides, if we ever do have 6 more weeks of winter, let's say when spring begins on March 20th, and instead of spring beginning on March 20th, there's 6 more weeks. So that means we'll have winter until April or May. Now, in some places like Canada and the North, there's still going to be snow and cold weather even in April or May. But let's say that is indeed true, and the groundhog is indeed accurate when they say 6 more weeks of winter. That means that spring is not going to begin until May, and that cold weather won't end until April or May. Now, if that's true, that is complete bullshit. I think the 6 more weeks of winter is supposed to be from February all the way until March. Now, regardless of whether they say spring is already here, whether it be in February Or if they say spring is already here starting on March 20th, guess what? Winter will end on March 19th and spring will still begin on March 20th, whether a groundhog sees its shadow or not. But all I gotta say is that the prediction of a groundhog, like predicting whether winter or spring begins, again, it doesn't really work because of how the weather is in different areas. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Groundhog Day is pretty much obsolete, and instead of canceling like Groundhog Day for 1 year like they did back in World War II, or if they would have canceled it in recent years due to the pandemic, I say they should just get rid of it entirely or revamp the tradition of Groundhog Day. Probably rebrand the tradition of the Groundhog Day where it would be a different day. Not to mention, February 2nd, Groundhog Day is not even a real holiday because when it falls on a weekday, for example, a Monday through Friday, you still have to go to school that day. Or if it falls on a weekend, like it did this year, or if it falls on the weekday, you still have to go to work. You still have to go to work on that day, and you still have to go to school if Groundhog Day falls on a school day. So there you go. Anyways, that'll be about all for my part of the rant on Groundhog Day. Stay tuned for J-Dawg's part, and I'll see you in the next rant. This has been Brick, and I'm out.
Alright, what's good with y'all? I'm here with Brick's Vids, and today we are going to rant on why Groundhog's Day is a waste of time. It makes no sense. And why, and what's the point on having fucking Groundhog's Day, bro? I was like, this day is a fucking laughing stock, bro. Who the fuck needs Groundhog Day? It's like a Pacific Day, and they claim that a quote-unquote animal. Look at this picture with these two goofy-ass clowns torturing this poor groundhog, bro. I feel bad for that poor groundhog, bro. That groundhog was like, put me down, you fucking idiots. I don't know. Or, why am I involved in this, So, apparently, they claim that an animal is supposed to freaking predict the weather or some shit like that. And I think it's stupid, bro. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense for an animal to predict the weather. I think it's the dumbest special day ever. I don't even consider Groundhog's Day a holiday. I think Groundhog's Day is a waste of time. I think it's stupid, bro. That makes no sense for an animal to, predict a holiday or some shit like that. Come on. Who thought this day would be a good idea? I think this is the dumbest day ever to exist, for real, bro. Come on, people. It's not even a holiday, bro. For real. It's not even that special of a day. You're like, yay, saw a shadow. Ooh, a groundhog's supposed to predict the weather. How could a freaking animal is supposed to predict the weather? That makes absolutely no sense. That is the dumbest day ever, and it's a waste of time. I think whoever created that day is a complete idiot, bro. What type of drugs are y'all on making this day exist? Groundhog's Day makes no sense, and this is why I'm not a fan of February. Just wasteful days and other stuff. I don't know, I'm not a fan of February, nor January. Even though some of those days, even though January was chill, I'm not a fan of. I don't know. I have mixed opinions on any day. I don't know. For real. But that's not the point. Just Why do we even need Groundhog's Day, bro? Like, that makes no sense. And they were happy that the groundhog see his shadow. Like, that makes no sense. Like, it's not gonna like, dude, if you want to predict the weather, why don't you check, like, go check your weather app on your phone, you know? Just, or look at the news, or better to make sure they fact check their information. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is, I think Groundhog Day is a waste of time, and it's stupid, bro. Like, for real. Like, what's the point on having that day, bro? That makes no, like, for real. I think Groundhog's Day is the dumbest idea ever. And if you think it's a great day, it's a very awesome day, then I'm sorry. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, thanks, Brick, for having me in this video. But anyways, this is Dawg, and I'm out of here. Peace.